Welcome back to the reading of the Course in Miracles Urtext version. This is the original notes from Helen Schuckmann, and we have started reading the Course in Miracle principles, and we came to principle number 25. And today or tonight I would like to start reading the miracle principle 26 and then get through 27, which is a rather long one. And if we feel inspired, we're going to continue with 28. So the miracle principles, the way we have them in the Foundation for Inner Peace version, they are differently numbered. And the miracle principles in the Urtext manuscript of Course in Miracles, they are going, sometimes one principle can go over several paragraphs, and some of them can even go over a whole page. Just to give you a context, if you happen to be here the first time, a lot of stuff which is here in the Urtext has been omitted or removed. In the first 8 chapters of A Course in Miracles, the Foundation for Inner Peace version, there is missing about 50,000 words. And when I started reading A Course in Miracles, I did the normal blue, dark blue version of A Foundation for Inner Peace, which I also recommend that you should start with it. It didn't all make sense to me. And it's only after I got the Urtext version and studying it back and forth that certain things made sense to me. Then I really understood what was meant with A Course in Miracles. Obviously also after studying the Course in Miracles already for a couple of years. So I like to read this together with you. My name is Judith. This Course in Miracles with Qigong, and I'm a Qigong teacher. And last year I have recorded a Qigong class for every single Course in Miracle lesson, and I recorded also the reading of every single Course in Miracle lesson. And I'm basically just inviting you in to join me and do the Qigong with me. Qigong is a Chinese exercise like Tai Chi, which is helping you, which is going to help a Course in Miracles student to understand the lesson better and to let it sink in, let the meaning sink in deeper and understand it better. So I'm inviting you in to come and join me in this Course in Miracle endeavor. Let's begin with the Course in Miracle principle 26. The Urtext Miracle Principle 26 is the same as the Foundation for Inner Peace 29. Okay, so this is the same wording, more or less. It goes like this: miracles praise God through men. They praise God by honoring His creations, affirming their perfection. They heal because they deny body identification and affirm soul identification. And this is such an important lesson, because this is basically what we really want. We want to identify with who and what we truly are, namely a soul, a spirit, a divine being having a human experience. And for having this human for experiencing this, for having this human experience successfully, we need a body. And with this body there comes a certain amnesia, and we have somehow collectively forgotten where we come from. We somehow collectively have forgotten that we are spirit, soul or divine or whatever you want to call it, that the light within us. We all sense it, we all feel it, but we have kind of forgotten it, you see? So this is the principle here in the Urtext 26 and 29 in the Foundation for Inner Peace. Miracles praise God through men. They praise God by honoring His creations, affirming their perfection. They heal because they deny body identification and affirm soul identification. So this first sentence is like this in the Foundation for Inner Peace. And then there's a second paragraph to this miracle here in the Urtext. It goes like this. By perceiving the spirit, they adjust the levels and see them in proper alignment. By perceiving the spirit, miracles praise God through men. They praise God by honoring His creation, affirming their perfection. They heal because they deny body identification and affirm soul identification. And then there's another paragraph to this here, but this is already in the Miracle Principle 30 in the blue version. I'm going to call the dark blue version, I call the Foundation for Inner Peace. This one I call the sparkly version, and this one here I call the yellow version. So in the sparkly version, this is then already number 30, and in the fifth version, the dark blue one, it's also the number 30. It goes like this. By perceiving the spirit, they adjust the levels and see them in proper alignment. This places the spirit at the center where souls can communicate directly. And I always used to call this touch the soul. Every time I actually connected with another human deeply, I always felt that I had touched their soul long before. I was like 18, 19 years old, maybe even 17. I had the feeling that when I really could connect to a person, I felt that our souls had connected, and that the words that were just inspirations, that we could affirm that we understood each other. So that's how I feel that happens when the souls touch each other. By perceiving the spirit, they adjust the levels and see them in proper alignment. This places the spirit at the center where souls can communicate directly. So let me see what it says here in version number 30. It says, miracle praise God through man. They praise God by honoring His creation, affirming their perfection. And the sparkly edition goes on. By perceiving, so it actually is kept it. So the sparkly edition kept the whole miracle principle intact. It's just that here it's number 30, as well as in the Foundation for Inner Peace version. But here we are still on 26. So now we are going to Miracle Principle 27 here, which is Principle 31 in the sparkly edition, and it appears it's also 31 in the Foundation for Inner Peace, because I've marked this up a few years ago. So, Miracle Principle 27 in the Urtext version. Miracles should inspire gratitude. Do you remember? Miracles are expressions of love, and they should inspire gratitude, not awe. Man should thank God for what He really is. The children of God are very holy. The miracle honors their holiness. And I have to admit, I find that difficult sometimes. I mean, there are certain people I can see the holiness, but when and this is my problem, but when I am triggered by the ego, like for example the war situations, when observing those war situations, I don't know which way to feel, and I am tempted to take sides. That means my ego is being engaged. Instead of disengaging from my ego and seeing the light within all of them, there is no sides. We are all one. We are all humans. Instead of disengaging, I pick sides and I point fingers. And through my own upbringing and indoctrinations, I have got difficulty to see the light in certain sides in different war situations. Opinions I've made maybe a long time ago or maybe recently, and then I have got difficulty to see that light within the others. But it's good to be able to observe this within yourself, to ask yourself, Why am I allowing the ego to engage? Instead of remembering that we are truly all children of God and that we are all very holy. So miracles should inspire gratitude, not awe. Man should thank God for what he really is. The children of God are very holy. The miracles honors their holiness. So this is the same in here. And then it goes on to say, so this is where the foundation for inner peace stops. This whole part here, which comes now in 2 small paragraphs, is not in the foundation for inner peace version. This is 27b. God's creations cannot lose their holiness, although it can be hidden. By what? By what can it be hidden? God's creations cannot lose their holiness, although it can be hidden. The miracle uncovers the holiness and brings it into the light where it belongs. What does it say here? And this is exactly what I just said. In these war situations, there's some sides, I look at them and I cannot see the holiness in it. You know, I almost think they need to be punished. We are all in it, or sometimes I'm getting caught in those conspiracy theories. But we have to remember, or we should remember, that even the conspirators, they are also holy children of God. We are all in this boat together. If we are saving 5 people here, but the other 5 who believe are conspirators are not being saved, none of us is saved. We all have to wake up. We all have to understand that we are holy. And what is required of each and every single one of us is to see that everybody is holy. And that also includes myself. And that includes that person I feel that I'm a victim of. You shouldn't feel a victim. You know, you're not a victim. It is just a question of perspective, of how you look at things and what meaning you attribute to those things. So God's creations cannot lose their holiness, although it can be hidden by their ego and by my ego, because my ego is engaging to their ego. The miracle uncovers it. That means when miracles are expressions of love. That means when I express love instead of pointing fingers, the miracle uncovers it then and brings it into the light where it belongs. Holiness can never be really hidden in darkness, but man can deceive himself on this point. So holiness can never be really hidden in darkness. This for me was a very important clue to understand this whole light and dark in A Course in Miracles. Holiness can never be really hidden in darkness, but man can deceive himself on this point. This illusion makes him fearful because in his heart he knows it is an illusion. Like all illusions, he exerts enormous effort to establish their validity. The miracle sets validity where it belongs. Eternal validity belongs only to the soul. The miracle acknowledges only the truth. It thus dispels man's illusions about himself and puts him into communion with himself and with God. Holiness can never be really hidden in darkness, but man can deceive himself on this point. And that is where I always speak about the pocket of darkness. When I was reading the Course in Miracles with you last year, every day, one of the lessons, and also when we had the Qigong lessons, the accompanying Qigong lessons, I often said to you, the way I see this darkness, you can only create a darkness when you are packing it inside a container. So you take a container and then you close it. And then you have got an illusion of darkness within this container. But the light is all around you. And we are looking into the darkness. So I always had the feeling that we are kind of rolling ourselves into a ball of darkness when the light is all the time around us. And the light through Qigong, we have got something which is called the meridians, especially the extraordinary meridians. In Qigong, you have got like a therapeutic line where you're using the main meridians, which are related to the organs, which are related to and they're therapeutic. But then you have got the martial art and spiritual line, if you will, and they're using the extraordinary meridians, which is like the central channel, the Zhongmai, and then also the Renmai and Dumai, which are kind of going around the body and the head. They're also like reservoirs of qi. And really what they're reservoirs of light. And when you allow yourself to remember every morning that you are a conductor of light, that you are the child of God, that you are truly light, when you remind yourself every morning that, and when you also remind yourself that everybody else is the light, then you are actually preparing, you are becoming ready for miracles. You are miracle ready because you have chosen to look at the light instead of the pocket of darkness. So holiness can never be really hidden in darkness, but man can deceive himself on this point. This illusion makes him fearful because in his heart he knows it is an illusion. Like all illusions, he exerts enormous efforts to establish their validity. The miracle sets validity where it belongs. Eternal validity belongs only to the soul or the spirit. The miracle acknowledges only the truth. It thus dispels man's illusion about himself and puts him into communion with himself and with God. And that's what we want. We want to return into communion with ourselves. So who is this self? This is our true self. This is that light consciousness within us. We call it also the Christ consciousness. I almost would rather like to call it light awareness. Becoming aware that you are light. That's why I'm calling it Lucid Mind Qigong, and that's why my website is called Lucid Mind Center. It's about remembering, becoming lucid that you are the light of the world. And once you see that for yourself, you also see it in others. And it goes vice versa. When you see the light within others, because there's some people you admire, so you see the light in them. Here we maybe would like to remind ourselves that if there is light in the other, then there is light within yourself. And to punish yourself and to think that you are not worthy, it is not serving the world. It is not serving yourself, but it's most of all not serving Christ or God. To punish yourself and to point fingers at yourself and feeling guilty, it doesn't help. It doesn't help because you are supposed to light up the world. And you can only light up the world with your own joy and happiness. We are like those night, what are they called? The night flies, which have got the light flies, which have got the light when they're flying around. That's what we are. We are lighting up. And that you can only do when you remember who you truly are, when you remember that you are meant to be happy and joyful so you can shine up the path. And you can't do that if you feel guilty. You can't do that if you are crawling around in this darkness, if you're putting that ball of darkness around you. You see? So the miracle principle 27 goes on, and it goes like this. This is 27D. Christ inspires all miracles, which are essentially intercessions. Such an incredible sentence. Christ inspires all miracles which are essentially intercessions. This is, by the way, a miracle principle 32 in the Foundation for Inner Peace. They intercede for man's holiness and make him holy. They place man beyond the physical laws and raise him into the sphere of celestial order. In this order, man is perfect. And that, here we go with the level confusion. Man is perfect in the sphere of celestial order. But man is imperfect here as the humans. We are all imperfect. It's like the yin and the yang. The yang is the light and the yin is the darkness. And when we are here in this human experience, we are imperfect. In this human experience, we have to unite this darkness and light and constantly remind ourselves that this body is a temporary experience, that it's a vehicle. It's not like when you're sitting in your car, you're thinking yourself, I'm the car. We shouldn't do that either with the body. We want to kind of remind ourselves that we are the light, we are this consciousness. And this consciousness can be either anchored in the light or it can fall into fear. And we kind of have to decide which one of those we choose. It says it here. Christ inspires all miracles which are essentially intercession. That is the Christ within you. They intercede for man's holiness and make him holy. They place man beyond the physical laws and raise him into the sphere of celestial order. In this order, man is perfect. And it is to understand that the return of Christ is not going to be that it's going to be one Christ and he is going to save us all. The return of Christ is going to be the remembrance that we are all Christ. And you can't force nobody into this. And you don't need to brag about it either once you kind of realize it, that you are actually a being of light. It's not about then engaging with the ego and say, I'm a light being and look what I can do. It's not about that. It's about having this awareness within yourself, remembering who you truly are. You see? That was 27D. So, miracles place man beyond the physical laws and raise him into the sphere of celestial order. In this order, man is perfect. And then there is the last one for 27. This is 27E. The soul never loses its communication with God. The soul never loses the communication with God. The same as your central channel never loses the connection to source, to universe. Because you are in the universe. We are in the universe. We are in God. Our body is inside our mind and our mind is within the mind of God. When you're breathing in God. When you're breathing out what you don't need. The soul never loses its communion with God. Only the mind and body need atonement. Spirit is perfect. Spirit or soul is perfect as it is. Only the mind, because it's split, and the body need atonement or atonement. The miracle joins in the atonement of Christ by placing the mind in the service of spirit. This is where we are taking the decision and we are saying, my mind I am placing into the service of spirit. This establishes the proper function of mind and abolishes its errors. And this is one of those interesting revelations I had about a couple of weeks ago, maybe it's already a month ago, where I was walking in the morning and I was thinking, God, can you please help me to fulfill all my plans? Blah, 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 doing my prayer. And then there was a moment of stillness in my mind. And then I was thinking, well, maybe I should rather be asking, help me to fulfill your plan. Help me understand what I need to do to fulfill your plan, instead of asking God to help me fulfill mine. And I remember when I was actually standing there, I was overwhelmed, tears welled up, because the understanding came to me. It's not about me fulfilling my plans. It's about putting my mind and body into the service, fulfilling God's plan, fulfilling my soul's plan, because my soul is always connected to God. My spirit is always connected to God. And choosing to put my mind in the service of spirit, in the service of the soul, in the service of the Christ consciousness, or in the service of God. It's all just different approaches to the same thing. It's because we are compartmentalizing. Humans, we are always compartmentalizing. We are dividing everything, we're complicating things. But at the end of the day, we just want to decide to put our mind and soul, this consciousness we seem to have, this awareness we have of self, we want to put this into the service of the light, or in the service of love. I hope this makes sense to you. I would love you to tell me what inspiration comes to you, or what inspirations you may have had during this week. And also tell me what led you to me. It inspires me. When you leave a comment to me, then it always inspires me to keep on going, to record yet another miracle principle or another Qigong lesson or something. I need the feedback. And I'm also thinking about starting with the Sunday contemplation live, where we can actually connect and we can actually communicate with each other here on YouTube. And then maybe eventually we start a little Sunday circle via Zoom or something. Let's see. Let me know if that would be something which you would be interested in. You can just leave a comment below. And with that, I thank you for listening to me. I'm truly blessed that you came and found me. I believe that we are all guided. And thank you for being here. Love, light, and Qi to you.